Hey YouTube, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here's my review for UFC on Fox, Evans versus Davis. Alrighty folks, first off I want to say I'm sorry for making this video for you guys late as hell once again. For some crazy reason, I usually just have a big night right after these darn MMA cards. I'm usually tied up with something, or there's still something for me to watch at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And yesterday there was, or should I say today, where I was watching the Australian Open final, tennis. It's actually my favorite sport to watch, so I was just really hyped up for that, especially when UFC on Fox kind of, disappointed me. So, I was just hyped up for the tennis event, and I really just didn't feel it filming, and I was at a friend's as well. So yeah, I was just kind of tied up. Of course, the NHL Super Skills competition was on yesterday, so I was kind of flip-flopping with that and UFC on Fox. So I only got to watch the fights again not too long ago, a couple hours ago. So yeah, just to get a better feel of what I have to break down for this review and shit. So yeah, sorry for getting you guys this video out late, but first off, before I start breaking this shit down, big shout out goes to my friend Mike Magus, aka Meodread. I'll post a link to his channel somewhere on the screen. Really good friend of mine, really knows his stuff about MMA. If you guys do appreciate what I do, you definitely appreciate what this guy talks about. So yeah, just go give him some love. Click his subscribe button when you go to his channel. Yeah, just guy who really knows his stuff, who deserves more views, so do check him out. But alright folks, let's finally move on to my opinions for UFC on Fox 2. All I gotta say is that I don't think this Fox experiment has been, a success by any means. Of course, we're only 2 cards in, but we had a 1-minute fight for an hour production the first time around, and then they had, 2.5 hours for like 3 fights, and I was like, wow, this is kind of killing me. And the 3 fights weren't exactly spectacular by any means whatsoever. I really wasn't thoroughly excited with any of the fights. For me, the main event was kind of a letdown, but Michael Bisping, Chael Sonnen, Michael Bisping pressing the shit out of me, props to that boy. And in the bout that kicked off the main card with Maia and Chris Weidman, yeah, that was not a good look. I'll get to that eventually, but let's start off with the main event between Rashad Evans and Phil Davis. Now, folks, if I could describe this main event in one word, I would say disappointment, for sure. Rashad definitely disappointed me. Why did he drag that shit out to UD? Like, was he paid off to? Because that was just despicable. That shit, could have been finished in round 2, in my opinion, because, Phil Davis was straight demoralized as a fighter come, round 2, not getting it to the ground once, not being a threat on feet like everyone thought he wouldn't. And I don't know, he was just a sitting duck. Rashad Evans was just kind of pawing out a jab there, not really committing to his combinations. Just a lack of killer instinct on the side of Rashad Evans, which is a shame because right now he's like 3 or 4 times mixed martial artist that Phil Davis is. And yeah, he should have just finished the dude. Phil Davis, props for, just standing up on his 2 feet the whole time and stuff. But yeah, really, I was not impressed with him. I was really not impressed with Rashad. Again, my one word to describe this fight, disappointment. Rashad Evans talked all this smack at the press conference saying he's going to impose his will on Phil Davis and all that. And he did for the most part. But, he expects to take it lightly on Phil Davis and, finish him. I don't know. I don't know why Rashad wanted to go to 5 rounds. Phil Davis was not a threat after round 2, knowing that, we couldn't see Phil Davis take Rashad down. What's Phil Davis going to do? Like, seriously knock out Rashad or something? Like, Rashad just, I don't know. I just wanted him to open up with a combination, a one and then an overhand, something like that. Just put Phil Davis out, and he just didn't. Lack of killer instinct, and there's no way he gets that done like that against John Jones. I don't know what his game plan would be for John Jones. It's going to be ridiculous because I think that fight's the biggest wash in history. I think John Jones would straight up murder Rashad Evans after watching that shit. Rashad Evans is like a 5'11" boxer who has a wrestling base that's probably not going to be able to get it off against a John Jones. So yeah, the guy has no chance. Let's be real. Now, of course, the light heavyweight division, there still is Dan Henderson. You know what? I know John Jones wants to take time off and shit. I wouldn't mind seeing Rashad Evans go at it with Dan Henderson and then having a #1 contender after that. I think that would be sick. But who knows? That's just my opinion. If you guys want to comment on who Rashad should face next, please do it. But yeah, if we learned one thing, there's no way Rashad Evans gets it done for the title in the way he did against Phil Davis. That's all I gotta say. Lyoto Machida even beats Rashad Evans, just watching that shit again. So, yeah, really disappointed in Rashad. Phil Davis, I thought he would look whack just because he isn't ready for the step up in competition, and he did. The guy's just not a mixed martial artist yet, a pure one. He doesn't exactly transition well. I did mention this in my prediction video. The guy is in stand-up mode 1 second, and then he's in wrestling mode the next, and then, I don't know, he's just uncomfortable transitioning from either to either, and because of that, his takedown attempts will look whack, and he's not even that good of a striker, and of course every bout begins on the feet. So yeah, it's ugly as hell for Phil Davis up until it does get to the mat, and it didn't get to the mat at all for him. So yeah, he got wrecked by Rashad Evans. That should have KO'd him. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for that. But folks, now let's move on to the co-main event between Chael Sonnen and Michael Bisping. Of course, Chael Sonnen won via UD 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28 to get the title shot against Anderson Silva, of course. But yeah, I did not think he won that fight. I thought it was supposed to be 29-28 for Michael Bisping. I did score the first 2 rounds for Michael Bisping. I thought the majority of those rounds were Michael Bisping outlanding Chael Sonnen in terms of quality of strikes on the feet, no matter where it was. Say if they're in the middle of the octagon trading, I thought Michael Bisping was outboxing him. Chael looked all right himself, though. And, in the clinch, the cage control and the cage and prey that Michael Bisping was displaying, pretty solid. I did not think that he would be able to do that to Michael Bisping, and he did outwork him there. And really, I just thought that Michael Bisping was more offensive in the first 2 rounds. Hence, I scored those first 2 rounds for him, 10-9 and 10-9. I definitively thought he took the second round because we saw less takedown and top control from Chael Sonnen in that round. And, I just didn't think he did enough of that in those first 2 rounds to garner him the decision. For the most part, those rounds, most of the time was not on the ground, and I thought he was getting beat on the feet, again, no matter where it was, if it was in the middle of the octagon or in the clinch by the cage. I thought Michael Bisping was, doing more there, and there was more time there than there was on the ground. So I thought he won 10-9, 10-9 in each of those rounds. Now, of course, Chael got third round definitively because for like 4 minutes or something, he was on top of Michael Bisping doing Chael Sonnen MMA, the takedown and the top control and the ground pound and all that jazz. But I just didn't think he did enough of that again in the first 2 rounds, so I didn't think he deserved a 29-28 decision. So that's just my opinion on that. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, of course. But yeah, for me, Michael Bisping won that fight, and maybe another day with different judges, maybe they'll overvalue Michael Bisping next time around. I just thought he was undervalued in terms of what he did this time, so that's unfortunate. Again, they just it's not exactly overvaluing takedowns and top control, because for the most part, Chael Sonnen wins this bout like 7 out of 10 times with different judges, in my opinion. So I can see some consistency there, but I don't know. I just think that they kind of have to edit the judging system, in my personal opinion, because I think guys like Chael Sonnen, even for the short time amount he was spending on the ground in the first couple rounds, got those rounds, and I just didn't think that was fair. If he got those 10-9 and 10-9, what was the last round? That should have been 30-26 if you want to look at it that way. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought Michael Bisping won that fight, personally. But what's next for Chael Sonnen? Of course, Anderson Silva. I think a healthy Anderson Silva will definitely be more of a fight for the first 4 rounds compared to last time. And yeah, that should be really compelling. I'm still going Anderson Silva, though. I think he'll figure out a way to, somehow keep it on the feet, or maybe submit Chael Sonnen again. Who knows? But as for Michael Bisping, it was a good look for Michael Bisping. Marnon, if they give him, the winner of the Chris Weidman, Damian Maia bout, which was Chris Weidman, I wouldn't be mad at that. If they gave him Mark Munoz, I wouldn't be mad at that. I just don't think he deserves a free card against, some can, again, personally. Keep him in the top 5, top 10 realm. So I want to see Michael Bisping up there. He definitely looked good against the number 2 in the world. So good shit from Michael Bisping. Again, I thought he won the fight. Now, folks, let's move on to that bout that opened up the main card between middleweights Damian Maia and Chris Weidman. Now, all I gotta say is that if Damian Maia ended up facing Michael Bisping, holy shit, he would have got wrecked. Michael Bisping would have, finished him by the second round away. Damian Maia looked like that. That was straight up horrible. Moving back the whole time, trying to counterpunch Chris Weidman, like K1 Maia. Like, that was despicable. I know he was sick and shit, but holy crap, if I was sick, I'd try to get to my strength ASAP, try to out-grapple Chris Weidman. That's his only shot at winning, let's be real. Like, I can't believe Damian Maia came in with that game plan, just chilling standing on the outside, trying to outbox Chris Weidman, you know, and he was moving back for the most part. Chris Weidman would move forward, throw more combinations, outlanding Damian Maia. I thought the quality of his strikes were better. I gave that 30-27 to Chris Weidman, but apparently the one judge thought 29-28 Maia. I was like, really? To me, that's more despicable than Michael Bisping losing the co-main event, in my personal opinion. Like, what planet does Damian Maia win that fight, 29-28? So, in my opinion, that was even a little bit of a robbery, because Chris Weidman should have had that 30-27. Nevertheless, props to Chris Weidman for coming in and beating Damian Maia on 11 days' notice. Good for him. But, yeah, Damian Maia, extremely disappointed with that guy. You know, a jiu-jitsu guy like Damian Maia really has to fight to his strengths, although he has improved in other areas. You know, like, I just can't emphasize that enough. You're an 80cc grappler. Why don't you use that shit? You know what I'm saying? And if he was going to face Michael Bisping with that, holy crap, he would have got wrecked. You know, Michael Bisping, solid takedown defense. We did see that in the Chael fight. And, yeah, against someone like Damian Maia, who's been shooting out from like 2 or 3 feet when he has been trying to employ his jiu-jitsu as of late, yeah, Michael Bisping would have none of that, and Michael Bisping would have probably finished Damian Maia by round 2. In my opinion, just saying. But yeah, disappointing for Damian Maia. What's next for him? Probably not a top 10 opponent after watching that. So yeah, I think he might be even sent to the preliminary cards on Fuel or FX or something after that performance, because that was just straight up ugly. As for Chris Weidman, who knows? Hopefully a top 10. We'll see. Alrighty, folks, well, that about does it for me in terms of the main card. Now, let's run down the preliminary card really fast, starting with the Nick Lentz versus Evan Dunham lightweight bout. Now, of course, Evan Dunham, you know, he got slightly Nick Lentzed in the first round, but of course, he got to Nick Lentz first in the second round, and when Nick Lentz can't grapple fit you, you know, if you're a top 15 opponent, then Nick Lentz is going to lose, and Evan Dunham just exposed his lack of defensive wrestling and grappling, and yeah, on the ground, it was just all she wrote for Nick Lentz, because Evan Dunham was wailing away on him in terms of ground and pound. You know, he would just posture up and land some more solid lefts. And yeah, Nick Lentz just did not look good. Of course, a cut developed and the fight had to be halted after the end of round 2. So solid win for Evan Dunham. You know, he did that rather impressively. So yeah, that was rather nice. And Nick Lentz, I don't know what's next for him, you know. That's technically kind of 3 losses in a row, because he did lose to Oliveira, although it switched to a no contest, rightfully so. But he got grapple fitched by Mark Bocek, and that surprised a lot of people, and that wasn't a good look. And yeah, if he's not beating these top 15 guys, they might just send him down to just beat, you know, newcomers. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back on the first or second fight on the preliminary cards now, just because, yeah, you know, he's just not beating these dudes, just saying. So if they put him up against, you know, more top 15 guys or more top 20 guys like a TJ Grant or Jacob Wolfman, and he doesn't have Division 1 on his mind first, then he really doesn't have a chance. So yeah, it's either they pile him up against guys like that, or I think they send him down to, you know, like I said, the first or second slot on the card. So who knows for Nick Lentz. As for Evan Dunham, good job. Yeah, I think a Melvin Gillard rematch, I wouldn't mind that. Who knows? We'll see. Next bout, there's that one between Mike Russell and Yoon Ula Vainamo, JOE. Now, of course, JOE, he got out-grappled essentially here, because Mike Russo would just take him down, and JOE wouldn't really get anything substantial off. I'm not surprised. I thought Mike Russo would have solid sub-defense, and he did. And yeah, I just thought Mike Russo was just going to do him, and that's to be a Division 1 wrestler. And yeah, just for the most part, be on top of Vainamo throughout the, you know, 3 rounds. So yeah, Mike Russo via unanimous decision. It's what I thought would happen. Next up, featherweight bout between Cub Swanson and George Roop. Now, the sky's the limit for you if you can get within George Roop's reach and you have solid power. Cub Swanson's that kind of guy, especially when Cub Swanson's very aggressive, which he usually is. And yeah, the guy, he's an exciting fighter, and he somehow just got out of the range of George Roop. You know, he just not got out of the range, got within the range. So yeah, props Cub Swanson for fighting aggressively. I think that's really how you have to fight a George Roop, because you don't want to get caught up in the reach game of his, which he's kind of solid at. But yeah, Cub Swanson for the win via aggressiveness. I thought George Roop would stun him in round 2 and take him out via second round TKO. I was wrong. It was Cub Swanson who did it. So props to Cub Swanson. Next up, Charles Oliveira versus Eric Wisely. Guys, Wisely was just fodder for Charles Oliveira. Let's be real. Nice looking calf crush by Charles Oliveira. Rather impressive. One of the better submissions I've seen so far this year. course, it was against, a bum in Eric Wisely, but whatever. It was nice nevertheless. Solid win for Charles Oliveira. What's next for him? I wouldn't mind seeing him go up against, I don't know. Who is there? Because I have a feeling they're going to push him really fast because they kind of messed around with the featherweight division, and they don't have any contenders set up for Jose Aldo. So I think they might even just throw him to the wolves, like a Manny Gambirian or a Mike Brown or a Hani Yaya really fast. I think they might do that. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind any of those matchups personally. We'll see. Solid win for Charles Oliveira. Next up, Michael Johnson versus Shane Roller. Guys, Michael Johnson showed superior footwork on the feet. He was throwing a lot of jabs from his waist. That was kind of funny. And, yeah, Roller was just, he looked offbeat. I really don't know what Shane Roller was trying to do in that fight. Of course, Michael Johnson just was the better athlete, but Shane Roller, I thought, should have been more relentless with his takedowns. He wasn't. He somehow got one off in round 3 just because Johnson, I think, underestimated it. And, yeah, we saw Roller hit Johnson from the back of the head. On the back of the head, after that, it was maybe grazing the back of the head. But then again, some of those shots, in my opinion, were from the back of the head. I'd have to watch the fight again. I wasn't exactly sure. But, yeah, whatever Herb Dean did there is what Yamasaki should have done with the Eric Silva situation. Just saying. But again, solid win for Michael Johnson. I don't know what's next for him. Good for him, though. He did save his job. As for Shane Roller, that's really not a good look. Actually, thinking about it, have Shane Roller go up against Nick Lentz and loser leaves. I wouldn't mind that. Next up, Joey Beltran versus LeVar Johnson. Guys, this is how bad the UFC's heavyweight division is. Or how they've handled it. I don't know. It's just bad in general. You had Joey Beltran, who's a 500 UFC heavyweight, and they had LeVar Johnson here face him. LeVar Johnson, who's what, 0-2 in his last 2 in Strikeforce, and he KOs Joey Beltran in the first round. Someone that we've grown to know as a tough guy. Yeah, I don't know, man. First round KO by LeVar Johnson. No one saw that coming. And of course, if you're gonna pick LeVar Johnson, it would be by that method. But we thought Beltran was that tough. I don't know anyone that picked LeVar Johnson. So I don't know if you guys want to comment on that. Go for it. And yeah, the fight that did kick us off, the first bout, the preliminary card, Dustin Jacoby versus Chris Camozzi. Chris Camozzi did his thing in round 3. Guillotine choke, get Jacoby the fuck out of here. And I guess that about does it for my review. And yeah, I guess, I'll see you soon. Hopefully you guys tune into my picks for UFC 143, Diaz versus Condit. That should be a dynamite main event. The main card looks alright. Preliminary card, not so much, but luckily you don't have to hear me talk about it. So yeah, again, that about does it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. I hope you guys enjoyed the event. I definitely didn't, but oh well, it's all good. And I'll see you soon. So please comment in the comment section below if you have any thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And yeah, that's it. Deuces for all my supporters, bruised for all my haters. Thank you again, and take care.